Hey. In today's video, we're going to go over lymphatic drainage and how to do it effectively. Your lymphatic system is extremely important for detox. It is the place where cellular waste makes its way back to circulation in order to be filtered out by the liver and kidneys. So it, in a sense, is the drainage ditches of the body and a place where oftentimes toxicity can bottleneck and build up and accumulate in the tissues. Now, lymphatic congestion can be correlated with low energy levels, brain fog, sluggishness, sluggish metabolism, hormone imbalances, and immune dysfunction, to name only a few things. That's why it's extremely important that we start here whenever we're in a health optimization process. Now, most people learn about lymphatic drainage from the point of doing things like rebounding, jumping on a mini trampoline, shaking, or doing dry skin brushing on a regular basis. But before we get to that, it's important to start with clearing the clutter. There are places similar to how when rainwater goes towards storm drains, if there is leaf litter built up on those drain grates, oftentimes there's a backup. Same thing can happen in our lymphatic system. There are 7 key areas where we can essentially get backup and clogs, and without clearing those ditches will never drain effectively. So in a moment, I'm going to show you those top 7 places and a simple technique that you can use once a day, 3 minutes a day, in order to clear the clutter. Before I do, my name is Dr. Chelsea Iltz. I go by Hermione ND on YouTube, where I alchemize leading-edge health science and traditional healing arts so that you can transform your health and re-inspire your life. Now, for the 7 key areas. First, I want to introduce the massage technique that we're going to be using to clear the clutter. You're going to use 3 fingers on either hand, both hands actually, and you're going to press the 7 points just as firmly as you would press a ripe tomato. So not very hard at all, with a slight little dragging motion on the skin. When we start, point number 1 is right above the collarbone in that well that you can feel before you hit this muscle here. So right in that well there, we'll press on both sides, gently moving towards midline. 10 to 30 times is all it takes. Point number 1, 10 times. Point number 2 is the point right behind the jawline, underneath the ear. Take those same 3 fingers and gently press, dragging in a downward motion, 10 to 30 times. Now we move to point 3. It's right on the front of the pec muscle. So below the collarbone, kind of the angle of the breast here, we're going to go right into the center, 10 to 30 times, circling up and towards midline. Repeat on the other side. Point number 4 is in the armpit, the deepest point where your fingers will go, and 10 to 30 times, pressing in and dragging down slightly. Same thing, other side. Deep as you can go into the armpit, pressing in and up and then down slightly. Now, upper belly, point number 5. So if we go between the belly button and the lowest point on your sternum, so this breastbone, lowest point between there and the belly, the halfway point. When I take 3 fingers, both hands midline, and then gently press in and then upward, scooping upward, 10 to 30 times. Now, point number 6 is actually a line of points. If we think about the bone here, the bony part of the front of our pelvis is shaped like this. And I'm just going to scoop along on the inside, pressing gently down and flicking upward in an upward motion, about 3 to 4 points along that line. And I'll repeat that 10 to 30 times. You see, it's really not much that's needed. Now, point number 7, our final point, is the pit right behind the knee. And so again, I use both hands, 3 fingers, press in and then gently upward, almost flicking in an upward motion. 10 to 30 times, both sides. And that's all there is to it. So for you, before doing any kind of rebounding, shaking in the day, or dry skin brushing, make sure to hit those key 7 points. Now I'll show you again one last time all the way through without pause so you can see where all of those points are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's best if we don't miss a day. Takes 3 minutes to do all 7 points. If that were all that you did for lymphatic drainage, that'd be plenty. If you'd like to add a couple of additional things, what I recommend is picking one. Either after a warm shower, we do dry skin brushing. Start at the distal parts, so kind of fingers, toes, moving towards the heart. That's the direction lymphatic fluid moves. It moves from the distant areas all the way back to the heart. So we are always moving towards the heart center. And we start by just gently stroking upward. And you repeat on all of your limbs. Best to do after a warm shower. Your body's nice and warm. Alternatively, if you don't have a rebounder, you can shake. A whole body shake looks as simple as it sounds. You literally just shake, let your limbs, let your torso, let your neck and your chest shake. Now, if you have any kind of joint issues, of course, modify based on what feels the best, what works for you. But start at 1 minute, and you can slowly work up to about 3 to 5 minutes of shaking a day. Alternatively, and what I actually prefer, is a rebounder. So a mini trampoline. I like the one with the bungees rather than springs, but use what you've got. And you'll basically, as simple as it sounds, jump. And likewise for rebounding, it may be helpful to start slow and work your way up. Anytime we're doing lymphatic clearance, it's really important to make sure you're hydrating well. So drink plenty of fluid in the day, and then you might start with just the 7 points. Once you feel normalized with that, then move into something that helps to stimulate and stir up lymphatic fluid. Because as we know, lymphatic fluid has no pump in the body. It relies on our muscle movement in order to bring that fluid back to circulation. So with the rebounding and shaking or dry skin brushing, that's what we're effectively doing. We've cleared the leaf litter. Now we're draining the ditches. Happy detoxing.